Southport Square residents. This is your Executive Director, Brian Hess. Yes, your Executive Director, Brian Hess. I know it's been a while. So
Yes, who are you again? We haven't seen you in forever.
Yes, so the face I know might not be recognizable right now, but hopefully you'll remember here as we get a little bit further along. But anyway, glad to be back. Thank you all for allowing me to take some time off and enjoy some time with my family. I'm back here for a few days, and then I leave again on a business trip, which I'll tell you about later. But we're going to start off with our Around the Square quick COVID update, because we're not doing all the percentages anymore.
Yay!
But at this point, we have no positive residents and no positive staff on our campus, so that's a good thing right now. So we'll just share that with you, and we'll move along. So,
that was the best COVID report ever.
Thank you. I like that one. It's way better to hear that. So. Anyway, so just some updates on the hurricane repairs and kind of where we are. Still a lot of work going on the campus. I know you all have been seeing it. Thank you so much for your patience, as we've had a lot of workers crawling, it seems like, everywhere on the campus right now. But right now, the blue team is wrapping up most of the interior drywall work in the resident apartments. They should be wrapping up within the next week or so as far as the drywall repairs in the apartment. If you have any ceiling tiles that still need to be replaced, I was told today, known today, that they did finally receive the ceiling tiles. They were on back order. They received them this week. They will begin installing those, and they do feel that they'll be able to have those all installed within the next 2 weeks. So if you have any area in your apartment that had ceiling tiles that came down and were not put back up yet, they will be coming back to install those in those places within the next 2 weeks. Also, if you have flooring that still is waiting to be completed, the blue team should have been around chatting with you about the type of flooring, the different selections, if they didn't have the exact type of flooring that will go into your apartment. And they feel that they will begin that project within the next 2 weeks, and it will take them about a month or so to work through that project. So probably mid-June is when they'll be able to start that, and then hopefully by mid-July or so they'll be completed with the flooring. And so as they move through, we'll get a schedule so we can have a rough idea of when they're going to be in each of the areas, and we'll make sure that you're made aware of those apartments and when they're going to be working in those areas. Unfortunately, with the window replacements and the full lanai replacements, right now the permitting is held up in the county. They have submitted multiple times, and it keeps coming back with some rejections, so they're trying to get the final put through for the county. I'm going to try to assist them to make sure we can get the permitting completed. However, we're still delayed right now on the windows and the lanais until the permitting is approved and we can start installing those. Once we have the final, we'll be able to progress with that work and move forward. But that is hung up right now in that permitting process, and hopefully we'll get that completed quickly. The revinyl and the rescreening, however, is continuing. So that started up on the 5th floor of the Gables West building. They'll be moving on to the 4th floor, hopefully by the end of this week, and then continue to progress through with the revinyl and the rescreen for folks that just had the vinyls torn or broken in the lanai itself. If the total lanai is gone and you have that plywood barrier, that means you're going to get a whole new lanai. That is not approved yet, but the rescreening and the revinyling that will take place in all the other apartments is progressing still in the buildings at this time. And then our roofing work, how's that sound? Our roofing work is actually continuing on the campus right now. They are working currently on our Gables West building. I'm sure you've seen them running around on those roofs as they've been working up there. I know that there's still a lot of debris around the buildings from things dropping or falling off, and it seems like every time we have a windy day or a rainy day, we get more stuff around the buildings. So just be cautious as you're walking around the buildings of any type of debris. I would encourage you to stay on sidewalks and roadways just so we're not stepping on any nails. They are still running their magnets, but it's a large area, and so there is potential that nails could still be in the grass, in the mulch beds, and in areas like that. So please try to stay on the walkways as much as possible. But they are continuing on the Gables West building, and then they're going to move over to Gables East and finish the shingle roofs. And then they will be going back to do all of the flat roofs on each of the buildings. And that's going to be in each of the buildings has several flat roofs that they will be working to finalize after they do the shingle roofing. Painting and soffit work is still in progress on the carports, so they are wrapped up, I believe, with all of the Gables West carports now. They're working over in front of Gables East, and they'll continue through that progression. One of the things that they did find is that there were some stapling that was missed in several of the carports that they've already done, and so the vendor will be going back to add those additional staples. And so as we work through that, we will probably have to move cars again for one day in each of the carports as they go back up and do additional staples to ensure that those soffits are secured up in the carports. So we'll communicate that out as we get there. I apologize again for that inconvenience, but it was an oversight on the vendor, and we need to make sure it gets repaired and resolved quickly. And then also the painting of the rest of the campus. So we do have painting taking place in the village area. If you've been over by the bistro in the last several days, you've seen some work being done with some of the ceilings being painted white, as well as the Innovative Home Services and some of the village starting to get paint on the walls. So you'll see the new colors. It's a little bit lighter grayish color on the walls, and then the trim is a little bit lighter gray beige color as well. So looks very nice. Not a big change, just a little bit different change, a little bit brighter in our community, and a little bit cleaner and crisper looking. So and then we are still awaiting final dates on fencing and electrical work to commence. That will be all of the fencing across the campus, including our pickleball and tennis courts, as well as some of the utility buildings and other fences in the back of the garden area. All those places will be addressed here. We just don't have final dates on that. And then the electrical work that we keep referencing is going to be all of the light posts throughout the campus. You'll still see that there are light posts missing. They've ordered those light posts, and they're going to make sure that they have all of the matching light posts together. And we will have those light posts reconstructed here on the campus and put back up in the appropriate areas. And then our update on the landscaping. So they've completed most of the install in the back of the property. You've seen the hedging, the viburnum hedges that kind of line the property, and those oak trees that are back there. They're currently treating that sod that was laid down back there to keep some of those vines and tall weeds from growing up through the sod. That is some of the remnants of what was there previously. Those vines are really hard to manage. However, they've put a solution down on that sod that is supposed to kill the vine but allow the grass to continue to grow. So they're going to continue to treat that and work on that and make sure that they get that looking really good. But it's coming along. It looks beautiful in the back there. Definitely a different look and feel back there. We'll take some time for that viburnum to grow to kind of build that privacy hedge in the back, but that'll grow in soon. And then next week, they're going to plan on starting the front entryway of Southport Square. So by the signs in the front coming up the main entrance, you will see them start the work next week, where they're going to tear out some of the stuff that's there already and put in new landscaping throughout that whole entryway. So as you come and go through the front entrance, if you're driving your car, just be cautious, as there will be workers in those areas now working by the signs and going up that front entryway path. They also do anticipate that during that same time frame, probably over the next several weeks, that they will also be addressing the entryways to Gables East and Gables West with the new landscaping in front of those porticos, the overhangs in front of the front doorways. So all that work will be commenced starting next week, and will last several weeks as they work through that process to get that landscaping in. I'm very excited to see that landscaping at the front entryway. I think it's going to look beautiful when it's done.
Brian, I have a question. Will the flag poles be included in the electrical?
Yes, so the flag poles are still outstanding right now. I don't have an update on that. They had to order new flag poles, at least one new flag pole, because it was damaged beyond repair. Mm-hmm. So they don't have a date. They probably will work through that with the electrical work, although I've asked them to see if they can get that done a lot faster than starting on the electrical work. But they are waiting for that pole to come in. I'd rather get that one done sooner, just because I'd like to get our flags back up and flying. So, but yeah, they will be working on that probably the same time they do a lot of the exterior work here on the campus. So, and then a couple of other project updates. So Gables East renovation, my goodness, this project has gone on forever. And in the middle of that, the hurricane, and it just has been a blast. So one, thank you very much to all the residents in Gables East. I know it has been an extreme hassle a huge mess, dirty, dusty, an inconvenience, noisy, smelly. I don't know. I'm sure I missed some in there. But anyway, thank you all. I know it has been a huge inconvenience, and I appreciate your patience as we've worked through this project. This week we did some final walks and punch lists with the vendor. So they're going back to do a lot of like just touch-up work. They'll be working through that. You will see blue tape in the building. Please make sure you leave that blue tape where it is. That's just notations for them to fix items. And please do not add any blue tape. If you see an area that you think needs to be addressed, please just let it be for right now so that we can address it, because we have multiple pieces where the vendor is doing some repairs and we're doing some repairs. So please just let us kind of work through the process, and when we're all said and done, if there's still an area that you think needs to be addressed, then please bring it to our attention and we'll work through that at that time. But we're definitely just trying to get through the final pieces of this with our vendor, get the final construction complete, and then the week of June 12th, it's actually going to be June 13th through the 16th is when the furniture will be delivered. So I will just warn you now, for about 4 days, we will have people kind of running all over the building with furniture. There will be large furniture coming down corridors, either with dollies or pallet loaders, things like that. But they will be bringing furniture and taking old furniture out. So we will have further instruction for those residents that have tried to claim, different furniture items and stuff. We'll have further instruction as we get closer to time, but it will probably be on Monday, June 12th is when we will probably have you all collect any of those items that you have asked for and remove them from the area. Once they are gone, we do not want those back. Those will be your items once you take those. Once we have the furniture in Gables East, please just know that that will be our setup. I don't want stuff added to that or moved around. We really want that as the professional designers have built. We want to keep it as is in those places to make it look and feel like a great building. So also just a note for those of you that do live in Gables East is with the brand new renovation, the walls all painted nice and neat. Please just be cautious as you walk through the corridors and the hallways. We've already seen a lot of scrapes and dings and nicks and things like that. And so the more we can keep that building in shape, the better. It will look a lot nicer. So please just be cautious as you're walking through the corridors. If you're driving a scooter or walking with your walker or anything, just be cautious and be aware of the walls and the areas. It's all looking beautiful. We want to keep it that way as long as possible. And then a couple of other quick updates, the air conditioner in the pool area. So I know that has been a long time coming, and the vendor has bumped us out several months, and they finally said June, and here we are, June 1. So we are very hopeful that the vendor is going to live up to their commitment this month, and that we will get that AC and it will be delivered and installed this month. So we're going to be working with that vendor, hopeful that we will get it installed. We haven't heard anything differently yet, so that's good news. But we'll be working to kind of schedule that date and get the pool AC installed and get this behind us once and for all. Very excited to get that tackled. Last couple of things. Next week, this coming week, I guess, I will be traveling to Denver for Life Care Services Leadership Summit, and with me will be Vicki Barone and Tammy Wilbert. So just so you all know, the three of us will be out of the building for next week. We will make sure that we have capable leadership and oversight here in the community, but if you do have any needs, whether they be housekeeping or maintenance or dining, please reach out to those respective directors or the front desk so they can get you to the right person, and we'll make sure we get some answers for you. I will be accessible, limited accessibility, but I will be accessible to answer questions, things like that if necessary. So if there's something major that is needs to be addressed right away, you can always reach out to Dawn and she'll be able to get in touch with me and we'll make sure we get it addressed.
No way.
Yeah.
The boss is away.
No,
the mice will play.
That's right. So forget it. Don't call Dawn.
Yeah,
she
don't
doesn't
call
want to
me.
hear about it.
No,
right?
the boss is away. I'm going to have my feet up.
I don't doubt it. All right. Well, while I'm gone, at least give her some bad jokes.
There you go. I need some more material.
All right. So just a last final thing I just wanted to share with y'all. I had noticed that our trailer site next door that we were anticipating FEMA to be putting some trailers over there from the Hurricane Ian damages. And so I reached back out to FEMA this week because I was looking at the development and nothing has happened over there. And so I got great news today from FEMA that they were able to place all of the residents in Charlotte County in other locations, that they will not be using the site next to Southport Square as a FEMA trailer site any longer. So excellent news that that is not going to be developed or cleared or any trailers over there. So y'all can rest assured that we will not have any new neighbors at this point in time that we are aware of. So anyway, just wanted to share that good news with you all. And on that note, I'll let you enjoy the rest of Around the Square.
When you're looking at lip prints, there's 25 categories of lip prints and over 100 subcategories, which means approximately 2,500 traits we might find in a set of lip prints. It's huge. So it's, as I said, it's like graphology, which I also do, which is handwriting analysis. That's been researched on criminals because they were trying to figure out if they were forging signatures and stuff. And then they went into finding out there were traits you could figure out from people. For the same reason, the hands and the lips are more connected to the brain than almost any other area of the body is connected to the brain. So it is the most data going back and forth. And this is something that doctors and people who look at this stuff figured out, and it's out there on the internet, and a doctor told me this. So I'm like, okay, now that makes sense because that subconscious part of your personality is showing up on the page, so all this stuff can show up, and that makes sense to me. Also, and that's true with the handwriting too, and how you write means something. But that was mostly researched on criminals, and this is mostly research on normal people. So you can't, Jilly doesn't have the whole thing about, the loop within the O means you're a liar and all the kind of stuff you can, there's a lot of negative stuff you can find out in handwriting. I have to really, at parties, like, how do I say this in a fun way? But with lip prints, I don't have to work at it. Jilly is a fun, comedic clown of a woman, and she's just my cup of tea. She's a wonderful person. And so she trained me to do this similarly to the way that she does it herself. And so in the book, she talks about things she says and all that. And I expand on that because I remember what she taught me. So I can share that when I teach. I also share my own experience because I've been doing it for about 11 and change years, a little over 11 years myself. So it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to get to the fun now. And so what I want you to do is just say, hey, if they're coming to you and you're not in a mood to hug, you're not in a mood to interact, just say, hey, I need a little space. Let me talk to you later, okay? And then they're not coming back to you going, did I do something wrong? To avoid all the drama, okay? So that's what that's about.
Yeah.
For the second one, I want him to do his own. Okay? Because it's like chapstick, the color within the lines, okay? I know, I'm just being a good little student. Doubling down on that. Okay. So then there's so just communicate. That way they're not coming back and telling you, when they didn't do anything wrong, they're just not in the mood right now. So that's a good way to do that. And then see all these dots on the bottom? Those are called seeds of change. It means your ideas, projects, thoughts, something on the back burner that hasn't been written down.
She was putting it on
What I suggest
him.
you do
And
is
he is now,
write
he's
it
gonna
down
put
on a
it
piece
on.
of paper or on a notebook, something like that. And I say, just do it.
Not good.
Beautiful.
This is not good.
Let me see.
Good.
That really accentuates
Yeah.
your eyes, Steve.
Thank you, thank you.
You put it on so nice.
Yeah, Smita did it. I can't do this with you.
All right, I'll walk away.
You got an old soul mark, so you too are.
Took a bunch of these pictures and
Now, Steve, make a kissy face.
It's a mess.
Very nice.
Okay.
Go, crash. You're going, and then you're like.
Good job,
And then
Smita.
you're okay.
All right.
So this is a diamond. So pointing up, pointing
Hold
down,
on.
pointing to the sides. So therefore, you are a diamond. Oh yes, I will.
I want this
Come on
one.
close.
Oh.
Bring it on in. Okay, got it. So this pointing up, pointing down, and pointing to the sides. That means you're a diamond. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamond people are everyone's best friend because they're successful and they help other people to succeed. So you recognize people's skills and abilities. You help them to recognize those abilities in themselves. That's the upward triangle of the diamond. Okay.
Okay.
So, so you're like able to say, hey, you're good at that, and somebody's going to be like impressed. So, like a good teacher, a counselor, a coach, a therapist, HR people, nurses, doctors, lawyers, managers, people who, from a strong base, send folks in the right direction. You're perceptive enough to lift them up, help them to shine, put them in a position to grow. You're like, you can do it, and they're like, yes, I can. So you make a difference in people's lives just by being someone who's perceptive enough to see what people are good at. That's the upward point. The downward point is what makes you a diamond. That means you give generously back to your community, and you're a good mentor. You know how to show people the ropes, because if you know how to do it, you can teach them. That's the downward point, and then there's also the one other part, which is that you're like the water that raises all boats. When you do well, you bring others with you, okay? So they're like, yay, Steve's here. You sparkle and shine like a diamond, which is why I put little sparkles around the diamond,
cool.
okay? Now your first lip print is closed, the second one's slightly open,
Oh yeah.
okay?
The other
So
ones were a little bit longer, so I was like, okay.
so this first one is closed, and that means you're stubborn. You don't like to change your mind once you make a decision.
Ooh, how accurate is that?
But persuadable. You will listen. So that's what that's about. And the upper lip print is very full, which means you're a good listener. And then the first one isn't, and the second one is. So that tells me you're a good listener until you're not.
Okay.
So people are like, will cry on your shoulder, tell you their life story, even if they don't know you. And then you're like, okay, I'm done.
Gotcha.
So, and then so until not. So it's just, you get full up. No.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And then you've got, let's see which way. You've got a Cupid's bow. You do like to make people happy. That's the dip in the top. So I call that the people pleaser. The upside is you're a good negotiator because you know what they want, so you get people to a win-win. The downside is that you may not always take care of you as well as you take care of everybody else. So I say take care of you first. You can then take care of everybody else. The fuller upper lip print means you're a good, I already said that, never mind. You've got your lower lip print is slightly wider in the second print, which means that you're someone who will, that wider lip print means that you're someone who says, okay, if you heard them the first time, you're like, and they keep repeating themselves, you're like, if I did the first time, you don't have to repeat
I
yourself.
can't even walk.
Okay.
And
So I
you're
say tell you one stuff.
I can't either. Just right.
And you've got an old soul mark here, which means you're intuitive, and your lip prints are reminding you to trust your gut. I think of it as like you have that intuition, you've got that kind of gut knowing.
Common sense.
Common sense, but it's deeper than that. It's like something you know in your gut. We feel that. Sometimes you're like, something's wrong here, and I don't know why I know that, but something's wrong here, or something's really right here, and I really like that. I don't know why either, but I like it, So that's what we're talking about, trusting yourself, okay? And then you organize in piles. You stack up your stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm very OCD.
Yeah, I hear you. And then you've got an angel wing here, which means you do unexpected nice things for other people. So, just heard a confirmation. And
You have your fan club back here. Yep. Forever and always.
so there's a lot on your mind. You gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. So you need to do a brain dump. Get all that out of your head and onto some other media. So not your head, but paper, phone, computer, something so you don't have to remember everything. It's like so that people are not. You're not having. You can like. Oh, what am I supposed to do in 2 hours from now? Oh, this. That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
That is absolutely accurate.
It is, exactly.
Because otherwise you're just going to be like, oh darn it, I forgot about it.
Too many projects.
Yes, exactly. So get them all out of your head so you're more able to be present in the present, right? And it'll help a lot. So this is what you're saying to you now. And the part of the reason that you've got all this, there's something here you get go, 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 crash. And your energy is like going and then you're crashing. You're going and then you're crashing. So that's the mixed energy levels. And that's the color intensity, goes up and down and up and down around the lip print. So that's what your lip prints are saying about you today. They change all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there you go.
Well, thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look at all this sausage and bacon. Yum, yum, yum. Give me some. And coffee. Pancakes.
Pancake breakfast.
Pancake breakfast. Best thing in town. Fantastic. Come on down, get your $5 pancakes. Sausage, bacon, coffee, orange juice. Hey, then put blueberries in there if you want them. Come on down. Right, Kathy?
What?
Come on down to Resident Pancake Breakfast.
Come on down. I'm
She's
ready.
got bacon.
I've got bacon. I've got sausage.
Well, the ambulance just arrived. The emergency plant rescue. So our EPR is here. Emergency plant rescue. Hi, Charlie.
Hi. The plant's looking pretty sick.
Yeah, they're here. They're looking pretty sick, and they
I'm
need your
gonna
attention.
take them to the hospital.
All right. So, Charlie, we have one of the plants here that is not looking pretty good at all. It needs some TLC.
Oh,
what-
that's all right.
Now, is that plant completely dead?
No.
You
the
can
only
revive
thing
it?
wrong, those old flowers have got some mold on them,
Uh-huh.
but the foliage is perfect.
Yeah.
And it's got a tuber too, so even if it died off, the tuber will resprout.
Oh, it'll regenerate itself?
So I'm gonna put these under lights in my humidity chamber.
Your humidity.
But that's the ER for plants.
The iron lung for
And it'll
for
come
the
back
plants.
as good as new.
All right, all right. And then you have a secondary patient here. This one's looking pretty rough also. Needs
Same
some,
thing.
Needs some
same thing as
reviving.
that. Just the old flowers. The
Yeah.
foliage is good.
Yeah.
It'll survive. Now I'm going to replace these for you with fresh ones.
All right, Charlie.
All
Thank-
right.
Take the patients. It's an emergency. You gotta go.
I'm going to try to get a police escort.
All right. Put your sirens on.
Here we go.
There he's off for an emergency.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Around the Square, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Well,
Joke time.
that's right. And since you're not going to be here next week, I'm going to hit you with 2 jokes.
Okay, all right.
All
Make
right.
up for the next week, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. all
So
right.
this week's joke, Brian, why do cows wear bells?
I have no clue.
Because their horns don't work.
Oh, this is true. I've tried
Nope,
blowing
nope.
on one before. Didn't work.
All right, and your second one, Brian, what do you call a sad strawberry?
I don't know.
A blueberry.
Oh, yes.
blue.
All right, yeah.
Anyway,
it's
that's all I
feeling a
got
little
today.
blue. Yeah, strawberry that's feeling a little blue.
That's
All
right, sad berry.
Mixed, if they're all like crazy, they're mixed berries. Is that how it works?
I
Or-
think they are, yeah,
All right,
mixed berries,
all right.
yeah, mixed bunch.
That was terrible.
It
Another
was
terrible
terrible.
joke just to go along with it, right? All right, well, listen, have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Go honk your cow.